Good afternoon. Today we are doing lesson 2.6, which is dividing integers. We have the exact same rules as we do for multiplying. I'm not going to go over these in detail. The only thing you need to know is the same sign. It's positive, so both negative or both positive. They multiply or divide to make a positive. If you multiply or divide negative and positive, your answers are not going to get along, so it'll be a negative. The one part that is different here, the quotient, or dividing 0 and any other number, is 0. So 0 divided by any number is going to be 0. So on the wall we have the poster that looks like this. It says OK. So this is OK because we have a 0 on the top. If it is not OK, we have the word no. If 0 is on the bottom, we say that is not possible. Later we'll talk about the word undefined and what that means when we get to graphing. But right now, if you have a 0 on the bottom, it's undefined. You cannot divide by 0. It's not possible. Your calculator will say error. So right now, will the answer be negative or positive? And we want the answer then without a calculator. So we're going to use our multiplication table to actually do division. So right now we have a happy and a grumpy. They're not going to get along, so we know our answer is going to be negative. And over here we have two grumpy people. They will get along. So our answer, we know, is going to be positive. So let's find these two answers using our multiplication table. This was the first one we have listed. So what we're going to do is what's called find and follow. So we're going to find the bottom number and follow it up to the top. We'll always start at the bottom and work our way up. So we can't find negatives. We already know our answer is going to be negative. So we're just going to find the 3. It doesn't matter which 3 you start at. Pick one. I'm going to use this one on the left. So I found 3, and I'm going to follow it until I get to 51. So follow, 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 follow. Oh, there's 51. So I'm going to look up. My answer will be 17. So I know down here my answer is really a negative 17. We already figured out that this answer is going to be positive, so we're going to find 8 and then follow until we get to 96. So here's 8, follow, 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 96, and our answer, if we look up, will be 12. So we can write that down there, a positive 12. So here we have a couple more examples. Some of them you might know in your head. Some of them you might need to use your multiplication and division table to find. Happy and grumpy, they don't get along, so our answer is going to be negative. You can also think of 9 times what gives you 36. Well, 9 times 3. Not 3, oh goodness, I'm losing my mind. 9 times 4 is 36. Again, you can find 9 and follow to 36. And there's your answer, 4. Good way to double check. Negative, positive, happy and grumpy, they don't get along. Our answer is going to be negative. 14 divided by 2, or half of 14, should be 7. Moving along, 2 grumpy people, they get along. Your answer is positive. And then 40 divided by 8, or 8 times 5, is 40. This one I don't know in my head. I do know that 2 grumpy people get along, so my answer is going to be positive. So I'm going to find 16 and follow until I get to 96. So I'm going to find 16. I'm going to do it this time and follow until we get to 96. Right there, not too far. So when we look up, we should be at 6. Alright, next, we can't find, if we find 7, you can't follow it to 0, so this is one of our okay or no questions. 0 is on the top, so your answer is okay. 0 divided by anything is 0. There is no such thing as negative 0. Next, I'm going to find 14 and follow it up to 126. So here's 14, 126, oh, there it is. And up we get 9. Both positive, so your answer is still positive. This one we have 0 in the bottom, so that's this version right here. No, that's not okay. It's not possible. You can put undefined if you'd like, or can't solve it, something like that to show me there is no answer for that one. And then last, grumpy and happy don't get along, so I know it's going to be a negative. I'm going to find 19 and follow it to, I'm going to find this 19 and follow it to, what number I already forgot, 95. So find 19, follow to 95, and my answer this time is 5. Negative 5. So again, you can use your multiplication table for any of these. Now we're going to do the same thing, but plugging some numbers in. X, we're going to use 18. It says evaluate expressions, evaluating expressions. Evaluate the expression when X is 18, Y is negative 12, and Z is negative 6. So first we have X, which is 18, divided by Z, and Z is negative 6. Happy and grumpy, they don't get along, so your answer is negative. Hopefully you know 6 times 3 is 18, and there's your answer. Next, we know because these two are touching, that means multiply. So we have X, which is 18, times Z, which is negative 6, all divided by Y, which is a negative 12. We need to simplify the numerator or the denominator before we can divide. So I know happy and grumpy don't get along. It's going to be a negative. So 18 multiplied by 6. So 18, we're multiplying now, so find both. 18 times 6, we should get 108, 108. So we have negative 108 divided by negative 12. Two grumpy people, they get along. So we need to find 12 and follow it to 108. So here's 12. I'm going to follow it to 108. There it is. And look to the other axes. It says 9. So our answer is a positive 9. Last one like this. We have X, which is 18, divided by Y plus Z. Y is a negative 12, plus Z, which is a negative 6. It doesn't matter if you put these in parentheses or not. There's a plus sign between them, so we know we're combining these two numbers. They're all negatives, so remember, we're going back to our adding and subtracting rules. Same sign, add and keep. So 12 plus 6 is going to give us 18. And keep the negative. They're all negatives. On the bottom, we have a total of 18 negatives. On the top, in the numerator, we still have that 18. I just rewrote it. So if you do want to use the multiplication table, 18 goes into 18 one time. It's not 0, it's 1. But happy and grumpy, they don't get along, so it's a negative 1. Last, we have what's called the mean. Another word for mean is the average. Average is adding up all of your values, finding the sum of all the values, and dividing by how many do you have? How many numbers do you have? That's what the number of values. How many numbers do we have? So we're going to add them up and divide by how many. We know we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. So we're going to divide by 7. Yes, 0 counts as a number. So I'm going to add up all the positives and combine it with all the negatives. So first, I have 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 plus 11 gives me 15, so I have 15 positives. If I add up all my negatives, I'm going to do the bigger ones first. 9 and 13, we should get 22. 22 plus 10 is 32. 32 plus 4 is 36. So we're combining that with a negative 36. So we have our positive 15 and our negative 36. We're just adding them up, right? The sum of everything. We added all the negatives. If you wanted to write it out, negative 4 plus negative 10 plus negative 9, and so on, we could have. So we really have more negatives on the top, different signs, add and subtract. Remember, different signs subtract. We really have 36 minus 15. 6 minus 5 is 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. So we have a negative 21 divided by 7. Happy and grumpy, they don't get along. If you want to find and follow, you can. Find 7, follow to 21. We should get an answer of 3. So your answer is negative 3. Now it doesn't matter which order you add and subtract these in, really, because they're all just negatives and positives. Later on when we do order of operations, you might have to follow a specific order if there are more than just adding and subtracting. Alright, so how many numbers do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we combine all of the negatives, let's do negatives first this time. I'm going to just circle all my negatives. Well, hey, I know these two, 8 and 2, they're all negatives. That'll make a negative 10. Negative 10 and negative 9, that's negative 19. And we have another negative 12. Same sign, we're really just adding them up. So we have 9, 10, 11. We have 31. And they're all negatives. So every single one was a negative number. And then our positives. 10 plus 5 is 15. 15 plus 16 should give us 31. And 31 plus 8 more is 39. So we have negatives and positives. We're combining them together. There are more positives, so on the top we will have a positive number. Different signs subtract. Bigger number minus a smaller number. 9 minus 1 is 8. So you should get 8 over 8, which is really just 1. 8 goes into 8 one time. So your homework is to work on lesson 2.6. This is your homework right here. If you have questions, please let me know. Otherwise, good luck.